So Vegan Gains has been banned again. Not really. He has unpublished all of the videos on his channel because he has gotten 2 strikes. 3 strikes and you're out. Your channel gets deleted. So why did he get those initial 2 strikes? He got the initial one seemingly after Greg Doucette made a video or series of videos. I'm not sure exactly the timeline, but it looks like a bunch of people went and flagged Richard's Vegan Gains after Greg brought to light this little stream. So during this stream, someone asked Richard about John Meadows. John Meadows died just recently. He had a pulmonary embolism. John Meadows famously said saturated fats from animal sources like tallow and ghee are good for your health. Is it ironic that he died from a heart problem? One risk factor for pulmonary embolism is heart disease, and John did have a heart attack, I believe, early last year. And yes, he did promote saturated fat. He was a bodybuilder. I don't know if he was still competing at the time, but he had a YouTube channel and would talk about like workouts and what to eat, supplements, all that sort of stuff. He has an article from a few years ago on T Nation about eating a saturated fat friendly diet, as he calls it. And he talks about the benefits of saturated fat and how it's been demonized, you know, over the years by the medical establishment. So obviously this person is implying that the diet that John Meadows was promoting ultimately killed him. Obviously, we don't know that for sure, but that is the context here. That's what Richard is responding to.
It's not ironic. It's like, okay, it's like somebody who has a fucking heroin addiction telling you, like, they're fine. It's not ironic. It's like, well, no shit, dumbass. That's what fucking happens.
So that was the first thing that Greg was responding to and felt the need, I guess, to make a video about this and to point out how callous Richard was being, also to say that his little analogy with the heroin addict didn't make sense.
It's not like somebody who has a heroin addiction saying they're fine. Just because he consumes animal products doesn't mean it's like being a heroin addict. These are not the same thing in the slightest.
That's not really what he's saying, because again, we're talking about someone who's not just eating animal products, but who was actually promoting a diet with 9 eggs a day, plus beef, plus turkey. I mean, it's very, very extreme eating. The vast majority of the people who eat animal products do not eat them in that way, do not eat that amount, nor do they believe that saturated fat is like good for you. Certainly the medical establishment does not believe that. So I think Richard's point was just that, yeah, if you eat a diet that is not healthy for your heart, it can't be that surprising when you end up having heart problems. So the same with a heroin addict. I think that's the point he was making. A nicer person would have said something like, hey man, let's not make fun of that. You know, he just died. He had a family. He had a relatively young child, and I'm sure lots of other people in his life who are really suffering right now and really, really upset. So like, you know, maybe don't do that. But it's Richard. It's we're not dealing with a nice person. This being the setup to me was just like, of course this is something he would say. I mean, he said so much worse than this that I was just kind of surprised that like that's what this was all about. But it gets worse. In a follow-up stream, again, I'm not sure the exact timeline, Richard decided to just be even worse, just more Richard. Like, you know, the Richard we know and love not only made it clear that he does not care about John Meadows at all and is pretty much glad about what happened, but also went after his child as well, criticizing the kid and John for having, I guess, uploaded a video of his son yo-yoing and like being really good at yo-yoing. Not that it matters.
You're proud of your son for this? It just goes on. Like, he must have been actually proud of his son for being able to do this. Holy crap. Your kid's a loser.
Why is this an issue for you? He just couldn't even understand why someone would be proud of their kid for learning something and doing it and like showing it for the camera. Then he goes through like the kid's Instagram. It's creepy as shit, y'all. It's so creepy. He goes through this child who can't be more than 12, I would guess, goes to his Instagram, finds a picture of the kid with a fish he's been fishing, and just starts talking about how the kid is awful for fishing, for doing something that he's been culturally conditioned to do that makes him a horrible human being. Yeah, it's Richard, you know, it's peak Richard. The final thing he is watching, he's just like watching footage from John Meadows and again, stuff about his kid. It's just like ultra creepy. I guess that's what his streams are. It's like video games and then just looking for stuff to be mean about, I guess. But he watches a video from John. This was about a month or so ago, and he's talking about his supplement protocol, I guess. And it's just like a bunch of different stuff he's taking.
I feel really, really good about the heart health stuff I'm taking. And very, very happy with how my heart's recovering. The proof will be in the pudding next month, though. Next month.
Oh!
So like I said, the response from Greg from the original video and then the response to this one, I'm not sure if it was in between the two or after this second one where people really started flagging Richard's stuff, and so he got a strike. And then he said he got another strike on his video responding to someone else, I believe. A few things I want to talk about, just some of the stuff that Greg says, some of his responses I find interesting I want to talk about. And also just in terms of canceling people and removing people from platforms like YouTube. And yeah, I think that'll be it. So let's get to it.
This is the kind of thing that gives vegans a bad name.
Is it really, though? I feel like this is so over the top. Obviously, I am someone who has criticized vegans for doing things that I think people will see as pretty heinous or pretty uninviting, and I think you do risk turning people off. That is certainly a concern of mine. I don't think anyone watches a grown man criticizing a child for yo-yoing and being pretty awesome at yo-yoing and goes, that's vegans, you know, that's how they are. I can't go vegan because that's what happens. You know, if someone responds like that, I feel like they're a lost cause. Like they're never going to go vegan. They're always going to be that person that's like, well, if vegans were just nicer to me, you know, they're always going to be like that. They have no intention of going vegan. They're looking for reasons to hate vegans. Again, there are certain things vegans do that I'm very concerned about being attached to veganism. Anti-vax shit, particularly right now. Fruit diets, all that kind of stuff. Any sort of pseudoscientific medicine shit. I feel like most people, vegan or not, are just going to go, wow, he's a really mean guy. Probably more vibrantly worded than that, but you know what I mean. This is just Richard being Richard, and this has been Richard for a very long time. There was a period where it seemed like he was getting better, maybe trying to tone himself down and be nicer, but for whatever reason, he stopped doing that. And I think it comes down to mental illness. I know you're not supposed to diagnose people, but he has said in the past that he is a psychopath. I want to say then he said he wasn't anymore for some reason. I can't remember exactly, but he used to say at least that he was a psychopath. I don't believe he's ever been formally diagnosed.
It's incredibly difficult for me to feel any kind of empathy for people. When I see people get hurt, I just don't feel really anything. With animals, it's completely different. I hate seeing them in pain and get hurt, and I just want to, love and protect them. And I don't know, I guess just through my whole life, people have always hurt me, but animals just never have. And I guess, that's probably it. Yeah, I've admitted to being a sociopath before, in at least one of my videos. And in the comment section, I've admitted to it. On the Vegan Revolution podcast, I've even said I'm a sociopath. Yeah, I just don't really feel any kind of empathy for human beings. One of my old friends is actually a psychologist, and he said, yeah, you're definitely a sociopath. He was talking to me for a while, and
yeah. So
never been formally diagnosed, so to speak.
Certainly many of the behaviors he engages in align with that diagnosis. I don't think it would shock anyone if he came out and said, I've been formally diagnosed as a psychopath. Making fun of a kid yo-yoing, making fun of a father for caring about their child yo-yoing, that's either, again, like literally he cannot understand what that is because he doesn't have the capacity for empathy or has very low capacity for empathy, or I'm gonna be a real mom right now, but like, maybe it's coming from within, maybe he is just an extremely, extremely unhappy person and he takes it out on everyone else. Whatever it is, there's a lot going wrong. There has to be so angry about such a little thing, about nothing, about something that would make no one else angry, like at all. Most people would watch that video of a kid yo-yoing, whether you have children or not, and go, oh, cute. Instead, it makes him angry. Not only that, he's baffled by, number one, a kid just being a kid, but number two, that a parent would see fit to film it, would actually like be proud of their kid. Like he doesn't understand why that's a thing. Like he doesn't understand that parents love their kids and love their kids learning things. He is very likely severely depressed, psychopathic. I know you're not supposed to diagnose people, but like, come on, there's something wrong. Go back to the video I made, this was years ago at this point, talking about kids and not wanting kids. It's fine to not want children, and it's great to be self-aware enough to know that you don't want children, or to know that you would not be a good parent, whatever. That's fantastic, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about someone who hates children, apparently, and like wears that as a badge of honor. That is not normal. That's like saying you hate dogs and being proud that you hate dogs. That is mental illness. That, you know, whatever the formal diagnosis is, there's something wrong with him, and it's sad. You know, he needs, I don't know if he is seeing a therapist or has ever seen a therapist, but he needs to go to someone and talk to someone, and I really hope he does, and I mean that genuinely. Everyone deserves sympathy, even someone like Richard.
Just when you think he knows what he's doing. For example, he said, yeah, calling the kid that was going too far, but then shortly after, 1 minute later, he's saying things that are even worse than he just said.
Okay, calling his kid a loser for the yo-yo thing was over the top, whatever, but...
So it seems like he understands that you can go too far, but he then gets worse. So I don't understand this guy. He knows the difference between right and wrong, yet continues to choose to do wrong.
Just because Richard knows that commenting on John's child was over the top doesn't mean that he can stop doing it. I don't think he can stop. He is so perpetually angry. He can't stop. And again, maybe he has that lack of empathy that would, you know, keep most people from doing something like that, because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. He doesn't have that. He doesn't care. Just to be clear, this is not to excuse his behavior at all. It's wrong. More than that, it's just really stupid. Not only just talking about all this in a stream and like what, just not expecting that this is going to come back to bite you, but also just the way he views morality and good and evil, just not understanding cultural norms at all, not understanding that this kid who has been raised to fish is probably going to continue to do so, and that doesn't mean they're bad. Like, to not understand that is just so childish. And again, this is Richard being Richard. This is his view of humanity that he has held since what, his channel's inception. For as long as I can remember, I and others have criticized him for this kind of stuff forever, for his view of people, for his view, again, of vegetarians, just having no concept or not caring that like people make mistakes, that people are usually trying to get better. No, that does not work for him.
And to hear him laugh hysterically, getting pleasure from this, enjoying this.
Oh, that's too funny.
It's kind of like this is the guy that would watch a horror movie and literally cheer for the person innocent people. Like, oh yeah, clap, yay, go get them.
I mean, there have been several horror movies I've watched where I rooted for the bad guy. Like, really? Seriously? There's never been that, like, scary movie or whatever slasher flicks. There's never been at least one character where you were like, God, I can't wait for them to die. Disney movies, you've never rooted for a villain. You never rooted for Ursula. Really? Ariel? Who likes Ariel? The character sucks. This coming from Greg, like, it just seems like, oh my God, I can't believe Vegan Gates would say that. It's just like pearl clutching. Like, we're not talking about the squeakiest clean person ever. Greg, like, he has been called an asshole. There have been videos made about him and his tone and the words he says being not okay. He's called people for looking like the average person, for being fat. He's said that they look like poop. He knows that's not nice. So what? Does he just not care? Like Richard, he just doesn't care? The issue to me here is not Richard laughing at the quote-unquote irony of the situation, John saying the proof would be in the pudding and then dying, because seriously, don't fucking lie. A lot of us have laughed at similar situations. There was a whole show on Spike TV, I think it was, called 1,000 Ways to Die, and the whole show was making fun of actual situations people had died in. And it wasn't just like people doing bad shit, like trying to steal something. Sometimes that happened, not that that excuses it, but often it was just like someone was bulimic and ate way too much and tried to purge it, and food fucking broke through her stomach and she died. That was one of the episodes, and it was like, ha ha ha, crazy, right? So please don't act all high and mighty like you've never laughed at a similar tragic / funny situation. Whatever. That is such bullshit. I mean, most of the top comedians ever, George Carlin, Louis C.K., a lot of them have made jokes or are even famous for making those kinds of like offensive jokes. So no, this is not unique to Richard. Granted, there are at least a few people who genuinely do not find that type of stuff funny. That's just not humorous to them. You're all beautiful, wonderful people, I'm sure, but most of us are like not like that. Most of us are broken. We do find it funny. We're just smart enough not to fucking stream it. We care enough to do it in the privacy of our own home, like with the webcam off, stream ended. We would not want to put that out there, especially right after it happened, right after some tragic event occurred where, I don't know, maybe their loved ones would hear us laughing about it. We would hate for their family to see that. We would, because we care about feelings, right? We would not want to hurt people's feelings, but to be appalled that someone would find it funny, I think a lot of us to some degree find situations like that funny. They're both funny and they're tragic. What is it? Gallows humor? Is that what it's called? The issue is Richard doesn't get the tragic part. It's not tragic at all to him. He just does not have the ability, or maybe he has it, but he doesn't want to use it. And so to him, it's just funny, and fuck them if they hear it. He doesn't care. So I just had to comment on that because it's just like virtue signaling to me. That's not a term I use very often. And often I would say virtue signaling is good, but in this case, it's just obnoxious, especially coming from Greg. Like, really, Greg, you've never laughed at something like this? Really? Give me a fucking break, dude. No. He's treating it like it's the worst thing ever because it's vegan gains, and it's easy to hate vegan gains. So yeah, looks like Richard is probably done. If he's smart, he will go through every single video and make sure it is totally kosher before he republishes, or really just don't republish anything and start from scratch. But he's been down this road before, so I doubt he's learned very much. And again, I don't think he can stop himself. He can't stop himself from being just fucking mean. Maybe if he stopped streaming, because then he could at least edit his stuff and cull his stuff. Maybe that's what this video should be called. Don't stream, especially if you're a psychopath. I would like to briefly talk about the canceling thing and canceling people from platforms. I'm not going to pretend that I personally would be sad if Richard were gone. I would not be. I think it would probably be a good thing for the platform itself to have people like this off of it. And also for him, I think it would probably be good for him to be off of the internet and to have to maybe get a real quote unquote job where he has to actually interact with people in the real world. Maybe that would, I don't know, help him realize just how out of touch with people he is and just how awful he's been. I don't know. It's hard because if he truly is a psychopath, that there's lack of empathy. So even if he were to find out that, oh yeah, by everyone else's standards, he's awful, well, he doesn't have empathy, so he doesn't care. He doesn't care what our standards are. That's the issue. Anyway, for those interested, there is a really cool channel called Psychopathy Is. It's relatively new, and they have a couple interviews on there with actual diagnosed psychopaths, and it's really cool. It's a hard illness or condition to talk about because we're talking about people who don't care, so it's hard to care about people who don't care, honestly. But I think we should, and I'm glad that more research is being done into how do we help people how do we help people with this condition, because as I alluded to, like this, it's not like this is good for Richard. I do not believe he's a happy person at all. I think that he is suffering from being a psychopath and probably from depression as well. Even if he doesn't care whether or not he hurts people's feelings, it can't be good to constantly hear people call you awful and an asshole and a piece of shit and that they hate you. Like, that can't feel good, psychopath or not. If it were my platform, yeah, no, Richard would not be on it. But that's the issue. It's not my platform. It's not your platform. It's not any of ours. We have no say, really. It's up to the underpaid people who have to review our stupid fucking content. And there's a good chance their values are different from mine, are different from yours. As an example, we can look at someone like John Meadows. Again, he was a huge promoter of eating animal products, not just in your typical eat some lean milk, eat lean meat, drink some low-fat milk. No. He was big on eating 6 to 9 eggs a day, a bunch of beef, like lots and lots of animals. Again, that article for T Nation promoting this saturated fat-friendly diet with 6 eggs cooked in coconut oil, 3 tablespoons of coconut oil in a shake with 4 ounces of grass-fed liver, half a pound of beef, 2 cups of raw whole milk, great, 3 more eggs, and palm oil, 4 ounces of turkey. According to Chronometer, that's 78 grams of saturated fat. Now, I know the link between saturated fat and cardiovascular disease has been degraded somewhat. It's not at all clear that limiting it to, 10% or less of total calories is necessary for health. Like most of nutrition, it probably depends on a lot of different things. The individual and their own personal genetics, what exactly they're eating, right? Are you eating a saturated fat cheeseburger? Or are you eating like coconut oil and veggies? And other lifestyle factors like exercise and smoking. But eating 78 grams a day, believing this is actually good for you, will make you healthier, is good for your heart, regardless of his intention, which I'm sure was good. Watching a little bit of his videos, he seemed like a really, really nice person, just someone who genuinely wanted to help people. Regardless of that, one could argue that Meadows was a harmful presence on YouTube and the internet in general. Not only was he promoting tons of animal products, encouraging people to partake in the suffering and death of non-human animals and all of the environmental damage that entails, but he was also encouraging eating tons of saturated fat, which is still considered a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. It is not evidence-based to believe that saturated fat is a health food. And there is a huge difference between eating like 2 eggs a day and eating 9 eggs a day. So would I personally want someone like John on the platform, as nice as he was? No, just like I wouldn't want COVID deniers and anti-vaxxers and unrepentant psychopaths like Richard. Just like some people don't want me on the platform. They think that I shouldn't be on the platform, that I'm ultimately harmful because my BLM video where I essentially said that I don't think vegans should be required to talk about anything other than veganism, just like other activists should not be required to talk about veganism. A lot of people were very offended by that, and I'm sure believe that I'm a harmful presence on YouTube, that I should not be here. So, who's right? Like, I mean, me, obviously. But again, I don't get a say. It's not up to me. It's not up to you. I would just say be very careful when something like this happens, because it's going to happen again, and you may feel very strongly that this person is so wrong and they definitely need to be off the platform, and you may really want to be engaged in this like mass flagging. Is it really an extreme case where you truly believe this person is that harmful and needs to be removed, or is it just kind of fun and it's fun to be involved? It's not an easy thing to answer. I mean, with Richard, like, I don't know. I really don't know if this is useful or not. I mean, part of me just feels like, leave him be. Like, who cares what this person who hates everything thinks about anything? Like, why do we care? And look at his channel. He seems to be doing a pretty good job of canceling his channel all on his own. Just look at his views, look at his channel growth. So that's it, really. I guess the last thing I'll say, just another bias, I guess, is that I have would be that this kind of stuff just doesn't really rile me up, because again, I can't care what Richard thinks about anything, honestly. The stuff that really, really upsets me is more of the stuff that I think is really influential. Like, I don't know, Joe Rogan not encouraging people to get vaccinated. That's the shit that really upsets me. Fucking moms on TikTok talking about the COVID vaccine being dangerous and making you infertile, or saying sunscreen causes cancer. That's the shit that gets me going. Which is not fair. I mean, it's not. Again, everyone deserves sympathy. These people aren't creating these ideas on their own. They are learning it from elsewhere. John Meadows learned the saturated fat shit from elsewhere. And with COVID, I don't know. I feel like I oscillate back and forth between just like, fucking idiots, just get the vaccine. And oh, now you're in the hospital? It's kind of like Richard's response. Like, what the fuck did you expect? Really? Like, why should I even feel sad about this? Everyone has a limited amount of compassion. Do I really need to waste that on this person who made their choice? And then I go like, well, yeah, you should, because everyone deserves sympathy. And this person has fucking brainworms. They got this information from whoever, Joe Rogan or some stupid Republicans, and everything's just been so polarized. And at the end of the day, like, is it really their fault? I don't know, man. I don't know. The people literally in the hospital dying saying, no, they're glad they didn't get vaccinated, though. Those people I have zero compassion for. I've drawn the line. You had a chance to say you were sorry, to say you messed up, and you chose the easy route, no. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. It was pretty rambly. It was pretty all over the place, but maybe you got something out of it. I don't know. If you liked it, consider liking it. Consider subscribing, of course. For those who are new to the channel, obviously this is a vegan channel. Obviously I don't, what's the phrase? I can't think of the phrase, but I don't agree with everything that a lot of vegans believe in. Well, saturated fat, still people like Richard are very like, it's the worst thing ever. I think that's a little bit dated in terms of the science and where we are with that. And there are a lot of people I very much respect, like Aaron Carroll, who just say, I don't know, how bad is saturated fat? I don't know. And I think as vegans, it can be very easy for us to just go, because it suits our narrative. It does. It suits our narrative for saturated fat to be really, really, really bad for you. But I am not a health vegan. I'm not vegan for health. I am vegan for the animals and for the environment. So I really don't give a shit if saturated fat is good for us or not. That's not true. I would like it not to be, because that would be another thing that could potentially help people eat less animals. That's good. Even still, I don't think it's a particularly strong argument for veganism. You can be healthy and still eat animal products, unfortunately. You can also support the channel if you want. Patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. And I guess that's it for me. Thank you so much, everybody. I will have a new video very soon.